Good morning and welcome to my channel, an outdoor gym where I hope to inspire you to live an outdoor life. This is day 3 of my trip down the Pacific coast. Let's see, where am I? I'm in Deception Pass State Park in Washington. They have really nice state parks with free showers. They took out the quarter machines. And I've reconfigured my bike after my double flat. I noticed that my bags were dragging on the ground when I would turn corners, so I've moved them to the back. Unfortunately, this puts more weight on the back tire, but it actually feels a little more stable, surprisingly. So anyway, getting started on day 3. It's going to be a pretty short day. Like I said, I'm getting my legs back into good working order. And I may take a rest day after this. And anyway, I'll try and take some pictures from the ride, and hopefully the rain doesn't catch me. All right, see you later. Well, I've been riding through Whidbey Island Naval Air Station, I guess on the outskirts of it. Found a nice little drive-up espresso shop, and I got a cappuccino, and I had them give me a side cup of some heavy cream. And I drank the cappuccino half down, then I added the heavy cream, and oh, that was a nice drink. Anyway, I'm heading over to Port Townsend, where I'll take the ferry across. So it's going to be a relatively short day. I think I got about 20 miles left to go. I'll be heading, looks like I'm heading towards the water view. Maybe I'll turn on the 360. Deception Pass State Park is under the approach path into the U.S. Naval Reservation, Whidbey Island. The route to Port Townsend goes around the perimeter of the Naval Air Station, and you can see lots of evidence of naval life on the outskirts. From there, the route transitions to West Beach, which is a serene stretch of shoreline known for its sandy expanse. There is also an extensive amount of driftwood that accumulates along the beach. I rode by the beachfront properties and wondered what the storms must be like that close to the water. Been traveling around the Whidbey area. Went past Whidbey Naval Air Station. And I just hit this cute little town of Coopville. Got a little maritime drive, all sorts of cute little shops on it. However, I'm looking for a cheap hamburger patty somewhere. So I'm going to continue on towards the ferry and head over to Port Townsend. It's been a pretty good ride. There have been quite a few hills, and I'm just not ready. Could Washington State be my training ride? I think that's going to be the new theme. Anyway, see you on the road. The question comes up a lot about why do I do these kinds of adventures? And indeed, what is even the definition of an adventure? And I think an adventure, to me, is when you don't quite know. You don't have an exact plan. You have the outline of a plan, and then you're on your own to figure it out as you go. To me, that's the adventure part, discovery. And I think during an adventure, I have lots of time to think, let my mind be at ease, get into a very calm and peaceful place, really sort out my thoughts away from the hustle and bustle of daily living and TV and internet. And I've always been drawn to self-propelled, self-supported adventures. For some reason, I just love the concept that everything I need, I'm carrying with me. And it's my own body propelling me from one place to another. So I've had this idea of doing this trip for a very long time. I did LA to San Francisco, in my 20s. And then I did the Oregon border down to San Francisco later on in life. And those two things whet my appetite for bicycle touring, but to do anything longer required more time off. And anytime I take time off, that's time away from family vacations, and you only have so much time off with the job. So now that I'm retired, I have time to do some of these things. And my wife is still working, and so she kind of said, well, why don't you get those things out of your system before I turned 65. So that's part of the thinking here, is that now I have the time and I have a supportive wife, and I certainly miss her and I miss our family when I'm on these trips, but I can call her every day. Cell phones have made a big difference. You're not as disconnected on an adventure as you used to be. So those are some of the reasons I wanted to do this. So far I'm having a great time, even though Washington may be my training state. I was doing a lot of hiking, but I wasn't doing a lot of bike training. And I certainly wasn't doing a lot of bike training with this much weight on. Yeah, if I had a lot more money, I would start buying some of those micro light camping supplies. So my nephew, Brian, was talking to me. He has 11-pound base weight for his camping gear. And I asked him what the trick was, and he said money. So anyway, I may try and do that later once I figure out what works for me and what doesn't.
The ferry service between Port Townsend and Coupeville, known as the Keystone Port Townsend Route, is operated by Washington State Ferries, which is the largest ferry system in the United States. The ferry operates between Port Townsend on the Olympic Peninsula and Keystone, which is near Coupeville on Whidbey Island. The route is particularly scenic, offering views of the Olympic Mountains and the waters of Puget Sound. My experience with taking my bike on board was extremely easy. I was directed to the entry where I paid less than $5, and then I went to the bicycle waiting area. They had us board with the walk-on passengers. We walked to the front of the ferry and leaned our bikes against the wall. The motorcycles came next and parked behind the bikes, and then the commercial trucks came, followed by the cars. I was able to wander the ferry for a while and ended up in a bicycle waiting area with nice seats and a view. Getting off was easy. They let the bikes and walk-on passengers leave first, and then I was able to bike right into town, where I found a nice coffee shop and took in the sights. Quote of the day from George Mallory. George Mallory was a pioneering British mountaineer renowned for his attempts to summit Mount Everest, famously answering the question, "Why do you want to climb Mount Everest?" Quote, "Because it's there." I'm in Port Townsend for a rest day, and I got a hotel room with a cooking kitchen, and I made a lovely ribeye.
No seat pain, no wrist pain, no neck pain, no shoulder pain. This is the way to ride.